assistant, Brady Burke. Brady has very vast experience in his responsibilities having put in facility setup, running drills and practice, and helping with day-to-day operations. Brady is majoring in applied sociology and plans to pursue a career in education. Brady Burke. Our first player was a blogger from St. Petersburg, Florida, in her 4th year as a Spartan. She's appeared in 106 career matches and before that over 300. She was named SSC Defensive Player of the Week early in the season. While on the major, she is escorted by her parents and grandparents. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon Hayden. Georgia, and is in her 4th season with the Spartans. Over the course of her career, she's appeared in 84 matches, logging more than 300 kills while having a career 417 She's a wonderful city which came to the SSC Commission Award in 2023. Was selected on the Raptor Competition Alternative Team in 2024. Majoring in advertising and public relations, she's escorted by her parents, sister, and boyfriend. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel Gray. Seniors and outside hitter from taking some top yours has been with the Spartans for her entire collegiate career. She's been one of the captain of She was a member of the 2021 National Championship team, was a 2-time ABCA All-American All-Star Collegiate selection, 3-time All-SSC selection, was named to the 2023 All-South Regional Crossover team, NCAA South Regional All-Championship team, and NCAA All-Tournament team. In addition, she's
Senior day and potentially an even bigger milestone for the Tampa Spartans. With Coach Katanak on hand, the program legend of over 40 years, Tampa looks to make the only undefeated season in program history and just the fourth in Division II NCAA history as they take on the Embry Riddle Eagles here at the Bob Martinez Athletic Center here tonight. Final game of the regular season, and as usual, Josh Sperber alongside my broadcast partner, Taylor Stoward. Now, Taylor, we have talked a whole lot about the disparity between Tampa and the rest of the Sunshine State Conference. And today they're going against an Embry Riddle team that they have never lost against, and they have not dropped a set at home against in almost 4 years. How big of a trap game is this for the Spartans?
They swept St. Leo and Florida Tech since then, and you have to feel that Embry Riddle, looking to put themselves in a place to be comfortably in the playoffs, are hoping to take the first win that any team's had against Tampa today. So as much as it is a trap game, I don't expect this Tampa team to get too comfortable. They know just how important it is to win all 3 sets and to get on the win column.
Embry Riddle currently sits in the 6th spot in the entire Sunshine State Conference. A loss and a win from Florida Tech can put them down to 7th. They can get as high as 5th. If they upset the Spartans, they do own the tiebreaker against Lynn. But as we mentioned, Taylor, this is a Tampa team that has been nothing short of dominant all 2025. One of 3 current undefeated teams in all of NCAA volleyball, and the best team in Division II right now.
Yeah, and looking at this team entering the year, this level of dominance was definitely a surprise with Katanak's retirement, Lynn coming off a national championship, Barry recruiting one of the best players potentially D2 will ever see, and the team losing stars like Callie Kors and Zoe Seput. With only 4 seniors getting recognized for Senior Day, this Tampa team has gone from a team that was one of the best in the region to the straight-up best in the nation under Coach Imperial. what a transformation, what a rally that this team has been able to do, giving such a legendary year. They've already secured a conference title. Another one will be added to the wall within a few weeks or months, it depends. But they have a chance to do something really special, and this is just something, I think it's going to be a word we say a lot today, a truly special team, a truly special year for the Spartans.
Special is really the operative word for this Tampa team, and the same can be said about their interim coach, Brian Imperial. He has yet to lose a game as a head coach, but he does come in with a lot more experience than most after learning under the tutelage of Chris Cadenac for many years.
I think it's not a surprise that once he got the reins of being the head coach, he was going to make an impact immediately. And since then, he's got the promotion from interim to full-time head coach. The Imperial era is very much underway.
You're absolutely right, Taylor, and the Imperial era will end its first regular season today. The four seniors celebrating Senior Day for Tampa: Rachel Gregg, Tess Schrenger, Natalie Perez, and Jenna Davis for the Spartans, as they will get first serve against Embry Riddle. Can Tampa go undefeated? The story of this season will be decided in 5 sets or less as we get ready to go. Tampa and Embry Riddle to finish off the Sunshine State Conference regular season. As I mentioned earlier, the Spartans, one of 3 teams undefeated currently in the entire NCAA, the only team that's undefeated in Division II, as they look to become the 4th D2 squad, ending the regular season without a win in Division II history, and 14th overall in NCAA history. No team has been undefeated in D2 since 2019. Juniata, a D3 school, had an undefeated season in 2023 and 2024, but they are 28-6 so far this season. First service for Tampa goes into the net, so a costly service error for the Spartans, and that's really been the one thing that maybe this Tampa team could improve on.
Yeah, yesterday they had a lot of early success against the Panthers. Through the first 2 sets, they had 6 aces to 2 errors, but then picked up 3 more errors in that 3rd set.
2-0 Embry Riddle as their libero gets into the game as the server, senior Gabriella Pagan from Lake Brantley High School in Longwood, Florida. She sends the serve over, and it's dug up by the Spartans. Goes to the far side for the senior Schrenger. Dug up. Now the Eagles send it backwards. Powerful spike, and it's bounced back by Ron. And a point for Embry Riddle. 3 straight points. Embry Riddle off to a perfect start.
You might see a start like this and wonder if Tampa is nervous, but this is usually how Tampa volleyball operates. It takes a couple of points for them to get some momentum. And the key thing is, if you encounter Tampa off to a slow start like this, you cannot give them a way to get into the game, because Tampa is known for mid and late set runs. They can rally on the blink of an eye, and that service error from the Eagles could come back to haunt them.
Quick set, tap backwards. Good block by the Spartans. Connor Ron, one of the 2 there for Tampa. And there's Natalie Perez, sending a block right down to the hardwood, sending this crowd alight at the bob as the Spartans win their first point on the offensive side.
Obviously, for Senior Day, we were going to see Perez get to work early.
Always has been one of the most looked at Spartans players with her skill. And there's the power punch to tie it up. Natalie Perez with an emphatic kill, her 2nd in a row. And this match is tied just like that. So still back to serve is Tess Schrenger, senior out of Louisville in Kentucky, as that one is slapped over, but off the Spartan block, and it's a point for Embry Riddle. I believe it was Kelly Herbeck with the kill. That is her first of the match.
What a dig by Weisbrod, preventing that landing as an ace, because that was a really solid serve from Schrenger, and then on the other end, the Eagles do retake the lead.
Ashlyn Kerner with the service, and there is Perez again. Natalie Perez going off on Senior Day as the Honduran international has 2 kills in 2 tries and 1 block solo. Perfect from the attack so far for Perez. Now Ana Rivera back to serve. She's been one of the best liberos in the Sunshine State Conference, recently being named to the team of the week, but her serve is taken for an Embry Riddle point. 1 point game as Embry Riddle goes back to serve. Dakota Zeman is behind the line, ready to go.
Good kill there by Rahano, and the Eagles have been pretty solid on the attack early on, sharing a .400 hitting percentage compared to Tampa.
And it's an ace. That one just falls in, clipping the back line for Zeman, as the first year picks up the first service ace of the match. 2 point lead for Embry Riddle, who also have an interim coach here today, Roberto Rodriguez, not to be confused with the famed director. Down the line and in for the Spartans. Tess Schringer with the kill. And the seniors for Tampa have been balling out on senior day as the Spartans get a couple of subs. Out goes Natalie Perez and Kayla Dondero. And 2 on for the Spartans, Matt Carter and the server. As that one sent over off the net. Embry Riddle can't bring it back over until the libero does, as Jenna Glaudel waits towards the net. She was the server for Tampa. She'll set it up for Rivera. Spartans get the point, and I think we saw too many hits for Embry Riddle, just a late whistle.
Yeah, the late whistle is the key term there, because Tampa was about to set up a brand new attack. But I know Tampa is not going to be disappointed about getting the point and leveling the score.
6-6 the score. Tampa has yet to lead as a nice serve is dug up by the libero. That one slapped forward. Glaudel is there. Rivera sets. Matt Carter slaps it off the block. And the Spartans take the lead for the first time on senior day.
I wonder if Matt Carter will go back to the center next year as one of the middle blockers. Recently, she's been operating on the outside on that right-hand side of the floor, and I think she's done a really good job when the ball is hit her way. She's not one of the top attacking options, but she is very efficient, a lot like Jenna Davis.
Cross-court spike coming from Fifi Harvey, and we're back at 7. No lead has been larger than 3. Embry Riddle has had that in control. Tampa has had a 1 point lead, just erased, and now Ashley Luntz back to serve for Embry Riddle.
They may have a new coach, but this Embry Riddle team is full of veterans. They only have 4 underclassmen on the roster, so having that veteran core is always a benefit, because these are players that have played with each other for a while. They know how they operate. Compare that to Tampa. Even though they do have a ton of Spartan legends and veterans, there's also plenty of fresh faces from sophomores Connor Ron and Kayla Dondero, providing vital roles on the offense for almost every single point. You know, Jenna Glaudel has emerged as the number 2 setter on the offense as a freshman too. You know, it's a mix of youth and old, but it's really impressive in how well the Spartans, from day one, were able to gel as a team with a mix of young and old, under a system that is a bit new, but also very similar to the classic Cadnac style of play under Coach Imperial.
Tess Schrenger gets the pass from Glaudel. That's blocked. Blocked towards the net, teetering off the top, and it stays alive for Embry Riddle. So the ball, with enough time spent on the net, did fall over to the Tampa side, but that's still going to be a point for Embry Riddle as they tie the game in.
Really good hustle in that play from the Spartans. I have a feeling they'll be able to pull ahead soon, but you have to look at the numbers. 400 hitting percentage so for the Eagles, 375 for the Spartans. Embry Riddle has come to play for today's game, especially as this is an important game if they want an at-large bid for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not just the playoff bid that's on the line, but I'm sure these Eagles, after years of getting mostly dominated by the Spartans, could use some revenge as they get another kill from Harvey. The sophomore from Marietta, Georgia, Fifi Harvey, gets the cross-court kill, and Embry Riddle takes the lead and returns to service. But I'm sure this Embry Riddle squad would love to play spoiler against a conference foe looking to accomplish a rare feat in not just college volleyball, but in all college sports. I believe that was Tess Schrenger, Rachel Gregg there as well. 2 Spartan seniors towards the front, and they get a point to tie it up at 9. And now back to serve for the Spartans is Rachel Gregg. All square at 9 apiece. As Gregg serves, sends it over the middle. Dug towards the net. Could be an easy one. A sitter for Matt Carter. And Tampa takes the lead 10-9.
The question will be who really pulls away first. If Tampa can generate a nice run right here, the Eagles could get in trouble. But conversely, if Embry Riddle stay level with Tampa and start to pull ahead, that's the way they could try to get an upset to start the game. Tampa throughout the season has been very good, not just, of course, winning games, but the first set has usually gone the way of the Spartans in most matchups, especially here at home.
Great block there by Jenna Davis. That one slapped over by Carter. Davis there on the block again, and Embry Riddle can't bring it back. Great defense from Matt Carter and Jenna Davis, and they deny the Eagles and get consecutive points for the first time since very early in the set.
Yeah, it's a 3-point run from the Spartans. They were down 9-8. It's now 11-9.
The libero Pagan digs it up. Hammer of a spike sent forward, and Embry Riddle crosses the double-digit threshold, getting right back into the ballgame.
Tampa always has a bit of a height advantage at the net. You know, they've got plenty of players who specialize up front to command that area of the floor, especially when you see Greg and Carter, or Carter and Davis combining up front.
So much height up front for Tampa, and it makes everything towards the net just devastating for their opponents, as the Spartans get another kill to retake a 2-point lead and now bring some starters back into the matchup. Off for the Spartans, Matt Carter and Jenna Glaudel. And Kayla Dondero goes to the service spot. Natalie Perez returns to the front for the Spartans. Serve over for Tampa as that shot hit in the corner. Dakota Zeman with a rocket. And that puts Embry Riddle within one. Second time tonight, the libero Gabriela Pagan back to serve. Ron, now the far side to Schrenger, blocked, libero gets it, but Pagan couldn't get enough on it, and that stays out of bounds for a Spartans point.
Both teams have been lethal on the attacks in the early goings. It has been a rough day for both sides defensively. Very efficient, very few errors. In fact, there are almost more service errors in total than there are attacking errors. 3 of each.
Great game in terms of the run of play as Embry Riddle gets within one on the kill, bouncing off of, I believe, Tess Schrenger in the Spartans' back line. But anytime the ball has been put towards the court, it has been a struggle just to get there for either team. Here comes another service for Embry Riddle. Ashlyn Kerner to send it, and that ball was pulverized by Jenna Davis.
There's a reason Davis is one of the most efficient players in the nation. She's a leader in hitting percentage on the leaderboards for D2 because whenever the ball is sent her way, she is usually able to bring it home. In terms of overall hitting percentage for qualified players, she ranks top of the leaderboards in the SSC, although Haley Manjak for the Eagles is trailing her in second place on that category, 356 to 353.
So very close margin, and the hitting percentage title will be decided at this game, as Taylor just mentioned. Top 2 in hitting percentage are playing tonight. Connor Ron slams one off the top of the block. That is going to pop up for Embry Riddle, set backwards by Perez. Now to the far side, Connor Ron off the block again, and we recycle. Goes to the far side, and that is Harvey with a cross-court spike that's blocked. Now Perez again, that's cross-court spike, not enough, gets on the dig, but Natalie Perez has been darn close to perfect for the Spartans.
You know, you gotta say, when you see Natalie Perez, she is so well-rounded, always devastating on attacks and kills, but she is able to make impressive digs like you saw in that play. She's able to elevate and make big blocks. She is so versatile. She can fit everywhere on the floor, helping on offense and defense. Having a player like her makes your life easy as a coach.
Someone who will be missed by the Spartans, this being her last regular season performance, but Tampa will host some playoff games in a couple weeks, and we'll keep you posted on that as soon as we know more. 2-point lead for Tampa as Matt Carter gets all of that one, but puts too much mustard on it, sends the spike long, and it's a 1-point game and an Embry Riddle serve at 15-14.
Doing some more rotates. It's actually Lunt into the game for the serve. Their libero, Gabriela Pagan, will rest. Pagan leads all comers alongside Glaudel with 3 digs for the match.
And Haley Manjack, as we talked about earlier, second in hitting percentage in the Sunshine State Conference. Hasn't had too much action, though she is currently in the middle of the net for the Eagles. Quick set over, and it gets the job done. Finesse and trickery from the Spartans, and they reopen their lead to 2 points.
That's the Zoe Seppet special there from Glaudel. Heads up play to find the open space.
So Tampa back in a 2-point lead, equaling their largest of the match. It's been a very back and forth first set as Fifi Harvey taps one over, dug up by Glaudel. Now to the far side, Tess Schrenger taps it over the block. Diving set up from the Eagles, and a power spike lands across the court from Ashlyn Kerner. 1-point game again from Embry Riddle, as Ashlyn Kerner gets a big-time spike for the kill. Substitutions now for Embry Riddle. Lexi Page, the senior setter, behind the line for the service on the far side for Tampa, or for Embry Riddle, against Tampa. 1-point game, the Spartans up 16-15. Here comes the serve, sent over the middle. Glaudel goes to the far side. Schrenger takes a bit off of it, as that one is dug up by the libero Pagan. Fifi Harvey with the slam, and she goes cross-court again to tie up the match. She leads all scorers for Embry Riddle right now. 16-16, that's the 5th kill for Fifi Harvey in 9 tries, as Embry Riddle looks to retake the lead for the first time since both teams had single digits. They do not, though. Another costly service error for the Eagles gives the lead back to the Tampa Spartans.
Both teams have both timeouts remaining, but I don't think both teams are really needing to use them yet. They are playing on level footing. Very close on hitting percentages throughout the day. 1 or 2 serves have been the difference makers so far.
Couple nice blocks, and they do it again. Jenna Davis and Matt Carter combining for the Great Wall of Tampa at the net. And the Spartans take a 2-point lead at 18-16.
This is a crucial break point for Tampa. Getting on a 3-0 run would be huge, giving them the largest lead for the last few minutes.
It was a 3-point lead early for Embry Riddle, but Tampa has worked their way back, as going to the ground is, I believe it's Glaudel, who slipped. Still made the set, but after it made contact with the hard wood. So the setter, Ana Rivera, or the libero, Ana Rivera comes in for Tampa as they lead by 1. Service from Fifi Harvey, and a powerful spike block from Jenna Davis. Glaudel there to dig it back up, and that one sent to Tess Schrenger. She slaps it, diving dig, and no chance. Tess Schrenger puts the Spartans back up by 2, and now back comes Dondero and Natalie Perez. They'll replace, Matt Carter and Glaudel, the continued replacement. That has been the substitution. And now we'll see a timeout. More from Taylor when we get back. Spartans 19, Embry Riddle 17, the first set of the regular season finale. We'll keep trying to figure out if the Spartans will stay undefeated next.
First 50 years of the Sunshine State Conference inspired champions and built a legacy rooted in excellence. A legacy built from a single sport to a conference of national champions. Threaded through geography, fueled by growth, defined by excellence. 135 team national titles, 173 individual champions, and hundreds of scholar All-Americans. Always at the top of NCAA Division II. Looking ahead, we reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we're going. The Sunshine State Conference, where success thrives.
The final game of the regular season continues here in Tampa, and we have seen a lot of really strong hitting from both sides, especially when you look at the dig numbers from Tampa and Embry Riddle, Taylor.
Yeah, been a quiet day on defense for both teams. Jenna Glaudel with 5 so far, but Ana Rivera, you can tell that team's game plan to try to keep the ball away from her. She has not recorded a single dig yet today.
And a lucky lip off the net, and a shot from Dakota Zeman. That one just skips off the top of the net for Zeman's first kill. And it's 19-18 with the libero Pagan serving the deficit.
That's a big point to get out of the timeout. Embry Riddle electing to use their first one just a moment ago.
And it's not like we've really needed to, as that one goes long, just misses the end line there. And that's the fourth service error of the set for Embry Riddle. And we've mentioned how key those errors are. You take away those 4 service errors, Taylor, and it's a 2-point lead for Embry Riddle in the late goings of set 1.
You take away both team service errors, and it's 16-16.
And there's a nice spike. Looks like it was Zeman again. And she sends it down the near sideline to put Embry Riddle back down by 1. To try and tie it, Ashlyn Kerner, the sophomore setter from Tallahassee, ready to go from the far side.
You always expect Tampa to carry high hitting percentage numbers. They're hitting .385 today. Embry Riddle hitting .367. They have come to play. They have matched the Spartans' intensity all game long, and it also reflects that way on the stat sheet.
And especially at this point in the season, you got to play up to the top teams in the league, and there's no better team in this division than the Tampa Spartans right now. Nice finesse spike from Natalie Perez, but the defense for Embry Riddle able to get on the other end of it. Free ball now for the Eagles, and a powerful spike from Harvey, going cross court again and just clipping the line. Fifi Harvey with a cannon for a right arm. 7th kill of the set. She ties it up.
I think that just clipped off a Spartan because it landed comfortably out of play. So very good job to get the deflection.
Yeah, there might have been some slight touch, because it certainly looked close on the end line, leading towards out of bounds from my eyes. As Perez digs it up for Ron, punches one to the back line. That stays in the air for Embry Riddle. Late jump from Zeman, so a free ball for the Spartans. Here's Perez. Diving dig, great job by Pagan. Does it get over? It does, but out of bounds. So Tampa gets the point. Natalie Perez once again with an unreturnable shot.
Just patented power from Perez. Not a surprise to see her leading the way early on senior day with 3 kills in the early going. I'm actually going to say that was a bad set rather than a Perez kill. I personally would have graded it the other way, but hey, I'm not going to argue with our stat team.
Perez and Tess Schrenger each lead Tampa with 4 kills, double that. And you have Fifi Harvey's numbers, match leading 7 for the Spartans. Connor Ron bounces one off the block, stays in the air for Embry Riddle. Isabella Rujano sends one forward, block, nice back set from Dondero, and Connor Ron finishes it off. That looked like a free ball for Embry Riddle, but Kayla Dondero sends it back, and Tampa up by 3 points as we go into the timeout. Roberto Rodriguez needs a break after some momentum for the Spartans. It's Tampa who will have the serve at 22-20 in set number 1 of this regular season finale.
Did you know that verbal abuse from fans, coaches, and players is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away from sports? Act with respect. Be officially human.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades.
Tampa serving up 3 points, or up 2 points in the first set of this regular season finale. Coach Brian Imperial, 27-0 in his debut as a head coach. And the Spartans looking to finish that off. Great block again up front. Perez and Davis the 2. And that set goes past the block for Connor Ron. Dug up by Fifi Harvey. And sent down to the earth by the blockers from Tampa. Rachel Gregg and Natalie Perez, Ron there as well, and now the Spartans are 2 points from taking the first set in the regular season finale. 23-20 with Ana Rivera out to serve. Sends one down the near side. Dug upstairs. Powerful spike, bounced off the block. Ron was closest to it. Cross court from Perez, and that makes it set point. Natalie Perez, typically someone who you expect to go for power, but she just guides a ball down the net line, and now the Spartans have 4 set points. 24-20 the score. Rivera serving for the set. Dug up by Embry Riddle. Goes to the far side, tapped over, running dig by Ron. She gets it in time. Back dig, Schrenger sends it over for a free ball, and Rujano starts it off. Now to the far side, power slam, Rivera slices it up. And the jam downstairs, no, it stays alive! What a dig by Gabriela Pagan. Can they keep this up? They cannot! And an epic finish to set number 1. It's 25-20 Spartans, and they're 2 sets away from the 4th undefeated season in Division II volleyball history. A dominant end to the set for the Spartans after falling behind early, but man, can this team bounce back. Taylor Stowworthy will take over the play-by-play for set number 2 when we return, with Tampa leading Embry Riddle 1-0.
First 50 years of the Sunshine State Conference inspired champions and built a legacy rooted in excellence. A legacy built from a single sport to a conference of national champions. Threaded through geography, fueled by growth, defined by excellence. 135 team national titles, 173 individual champions, and hundreds of Scholar All-Americans. Always at the top of NCAA Division II. Looking ahead, we reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we're going. The Sunshine State Conference, where success thrives.
Essential in your sport. It's essential in life, especially college life. It's everything you need to thrive in school, in sport, and everything in between. The key is just finding a place where you can pursue it all, because the real beauty lies in the balance. If you want to win in every arena of college life, go D2. Make it yours.
And we're ready to go with the Bob Martinez Center, set number 2 for Tampa and Embry Riddle. Taylor Stowworthy giving you the action to start the set. Josh Sperber will be back in a minute's time. As always, we've got Andre Pyatt running the show. Normally, senior day is also a day of farewells. But with a 27-0 record, the top seed in the conference with the title in tow, as well as the top seed in the nation, it's almost a guarantee that playoff volleyball will be headed to the Bob Martinez Center. Starting on December 4th, we'll have South Regional action. You can learn more about the times when it begins, but it will be from Thursday to Saturday. A trip to the national championships will be on the line, but before then, Tampa trying to have an invincible regular season, never done before in program history. And obviously, the story won't end with the regular season, but getting a 28-0 record would be something special to kick off the Imperial era. They'll kick off the second set by getting point number 1. Here's Strenger on the next serve.
And that was just a miscommunication on Embry Riddle's part. There were 3 women around where that volleyball landed, but none of them knew who was going for it.
Strenger sends it over, picked up on the back line. The Eagles sending it to the middle. Tough angle picked up by Dondera. Connor Ron kept in play. Solid defense from the Eagles so far. They've actually outdug the Spartans, and they'll tie things up at 1.
And I mean, I think you can just tell that everyone in this building just understands the weight of today's game. It being more than just a regular senior day, which is already a pretty emotional time in any college sport. And Tampa still looks to be that first Sunshine State undefeated team.
Tampa takes the lead off a strike from Connor Ron, and indeed, fans have filled the stands here at the Bob Martinez Center. Coach Kadnack, of course, has made a return to see the team and also greet the players for senior day as well. He's been a part of so many of these Spartans' journeys throughout college volleyball. So obviously he was going to be here to wish them farewell, whether they're retiring from the sport and moving on to the next stage of their volleyball careers, as Tampa takes a 3-1 lead now. But it's always good to have him in attendance as well for such an important day like today. And to any Spartan fan who is watching at home, December 4th, December 5th, December 6th, we better see you here at the Bob Martinez Center. We actually set the attendance record for Tampa volleyball in the national championships when Tampa hosted them in 2021 and went on to win the national title at their home floor. Funny story, Tampa actually didn't host regionals that year. They were second in the conference, or second in the region, despite rallying to win the conference title. I think it might have been co-champs that year with Nova Southeastern, as Tampa surges to a 4-1 lead. But after winning at Nova, Tampa came home to sweep through the national tournament play. I think they might have dropped 1 set in the entire nationals run.
And honestly, I could see a very similar run coming from the Spartans. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Coach Kadnack at some of the bigger playoff games as well. But, I mean, you can just tell that these players want to do well with him in the house. You know, as long as members of his final recruiting class and beyond are here, you can bet that he'll be still showing up and showing his former players some love.
Surprisingly, no deflection on the previous point. Coach Rodriguez talking it over with one of the line officials. We do want to give a shout out to the officials being here all season long, making Sunshine State Conference sports possible. There's a play down the middle, close call. Jenna Davis just offline, I believe. This one hit to the back line. Dondero with the pass. Connor Ron almost gets it at the net, parried over, and it's gonna fall. Rachel Gregg, not Jenna Davis, gets the kill that time around. Another kill for Gregg, her 3rd of the game. It's a 5-0 Spartan run.
And Gregg might have saved that point initially. The first chance that Tampa had came off of a one-handed back set by Gregg, almost snatching it off the top of the net. Without that, it could have been a free ball and an easy point for Embry Riddle.
Embry Riddle down the middle, kept in play by Gregg, and Ron wasn't ready. That's going to fall and end the run at 5. But Tampa have jumped to the early lead in set number 2. And after set number 1 went down to the wire, even though Tampa surged with a huge run to close out the set, it was 20-20 before Tampa won 25-20.
Yeah, and that is something that, you know, we'll see from Tampa time and time again. When their backs are against the wall, you really just see the players react collectively in an enough is enough kind of way, and then they just dominate.
Big block at the net. Rachel Gregg, Connor Ron, 7-2 Spartans. Tampa showing no signs of slowing down in the early going. And Embry Riddle, who were so efficient in the first set, have started to show some cracks in the offense. They've had a total of, I believe it will become 3 attacking errors once the stat sheet updates. Yes, 3 attacking errors to just 2 kills. They are in the negatives for hitting percentage. Tampa hitting over 400 in this set. And they won't get to the positives just yet. Rivera sets it up. Floated over by Carter, kept alive on a sliding dig. Parried back at the net, dug up by Harvey. from the middle. What a diving dig on the back line. Free ball pushed over from the Spartans. Now to the net. Poked back down by Connor Ron. Kill number 6, and it's 8-2 Tampa.
And when you look at this game, there's really not one specific stat that is showing the reason for Tampa's resurgence, for their dominance, but something that you'll notice by watching the game is the reflexes for the Spartans players look significantly better than Embry Riddle. For the most part, Tampa's been locked in, focused on every play, and anytime there's a quick set to be had, Tampa takes advantage, and it usually gets past the Eagles' defense.
Indeed, you definitely see that as you see this team in action, and it's that ability to be super aggressive on making good stops on defense and offense. That is a huge strength of the Spartans game. 8-3, powerful kill in response by the Eagles, and Tampa's 6-1 run turns to a 6-2 run, but still, you really can't fault the Spartans for an incredible start to the set, holding on to the early lead. And now with the serve, it'll be Ashley Lunt, the junior out of Windermere, Florida.
But that last kill from Kaylee Herbeck illustrated exactly what I was saying. Just like that play from Matt Carter, you get a quick set and then a woman popping right from behind the setter for a surprise and then an instant spike down. You see that time and time again from Tampa, both in this match and throughout the rest of the season. And that last kill from Herbeck was the first time I've seen a similar quick strike play coming from Embry Riddle.
Carter, second time, not the charm as it's denied at the line. Lunt and Harvey elevate to make the stop, and that will make it 8-5 as the Eagles draw within 3 on a 3-0 run.
And that was just unlucky for the Spartans. I think their whole team thought that ball, the way it was rolling, was just going to fall over onto the Embry Riddle side of the net.
Waddell out to the side and just offline again. Tampa with 3 attacking errors in a row, one of them caused by the first block of the game by the Eagles. But that time, I think it was Connor Ron. Great power placement, just couldn't curl it back into play. It's a tough shot to make. And once again, the defensive specialist sends it over for the Eagles. Here's Waddell. Ooh, quick set, but kept alive by the number 2. Kerner keeps it alive. Essentially a free ball for Tampa, but no, it actually is awkwardly hit on a play by Zeman. That'll end the run. Tampa leads 9-6.
Yeah, there really wasn't that much that could be done there from Embry Riddle. They just kind of misplayed that ball coming from the Tampa side, and they really were never in control of that possession.
Tampa will send it over again. Picked up on the dig by Pagan. Big strike from the left. And it's Rivera pushing it forward. Tess Schrenger off the block. It's kept in play. Good diving dig. Rivera sends it behind. Schrenger off the block, but good defense by the Eagles. They'll send it to the left. Powerful strike. That's going to land. I think it not only went off a Spartan, but landed in play. Fifi Harvey gets kill number 7.
Yeah, she has been the go-to girl for Embry Riddle. Dakota Zeman has come on of late, but consistently from the top, we have seen hard cross-court strikes from Phoebe Harvey that have been very difficult to defend.
So it's Lexi Hage onto the floor for one of the first times today. Pass to Schrenger. 3rd time's the charm. 10-7 Spartans.
And I feel like a lot of the Spartans' unforced errors happen when they're really trying to clip those corners, when they're really trying to get to the hardest part of the court. And that was, just a free-flowing, easy-looking kill from Tess Schrenger that was almost in center court.
Now to the back line. Here come the Eagles. They'll pass it to the left-hand side. Harvey at a tough angle, has to send it back. Tampa, bit of miscommunication. Free ball for Embry Riddle. Lofted up. Powered home. Did it go out? No, it stayed in or hit off a Spartan. Either or, it's a point for Embry Riddle. Now they'll make a change to bring Stella Weisbrod back in.
And it must have taken a deflection off of Tampa because that ball was definitely hit out. But just the power sometimes that these women are hitting with, if it doesn't get a chunk of a finger or a hand or something like that, you're going to have to look really closely to see the deflection. It'll just be too strong and speed right off.
Schrenger floats it over the block, onto the floor. Another great kill by Tess Schrenger, her 6th of the game. She recently hit the 1,000 dig milestone with an impressive performance yesterday, putting up 19 plus digs on a season high for 3 sets.
And I love the way that she goes up for those little finesse shots, because with Tess Schrenger, most of the time you're going to expect power. But she just kind of floats her way up to it and almost winds up. It still looks like she's going for a hard shot until the last possible second.
Kept alive on the dig that time by Schrenger, her 7th of the game. Conneron in play for the point. And it took a while, but Tampa snipes the corner that time around. They lead by 4.
I was about to say, I feel like Conneron is the biggest defender of trying to go for those corners because she can do it so well. And that time she hit perfectly.
So, senior day continues at the Bob Martinez Center in a minute's time. First timeout from Embry Riddle as Tampa leads 12-8.
You know that love of sports is the #1 reason most people start officiating, and verbal abuse is the #1 reason why most quit. Act with respect and be officially human.
Tampa leads. Embry Riddle used their first time out of the set to try to rally a comeback. Big strike. That dig's going to land in play. Pagan has to keep it alive. Awkward angle. Return to sender. The point continues. That one airmailed. Tampa now lead 13-8 as Zeman sends it long.
And I don't want to say things are starting to unravel for Embry Riddle, but you can certainly tell that while the strikes are, staying the same level of crisp for Tampa, you're seeing more of those unforced errors from Embry Riddle now, and not just on the service. If I'm Tampa, I try everything just to put your foot on the gas pedal and just slam it down to try and get that undefeated season.
It is so hard to keep online with the Spartans in terms of how aggressive and efficient Tampa can be. Throughout the first set, the Eagles did just that. Here comes Tampa. Perez sent over, good sliding dig. Blocked at the net. The Eagles being partially out of position, playing forward, are actually in a good spot on the rebound from Tampa. And Schrenger hits that the opposite direction off her hand. It's 13-9, and Tampa's run that led to the timeout comes to an end.
Yeah, and she was going for that cross-court spike there, which made sense. There was definitely some room in that kind of cross-section in between the net and the back line for Embry Riddle, but just didn't get the right part of her wrist on it.
That dig goes a little bit too long. It's an ace for the Eagles. Just their second of the game for either team in terms of aces. Both of them have gone the way of the Eagles on serve so far. Tampa hasn't been too costly in service errors, but unlike yesterday, they've been less successful in terms of getting initial points off of serves. Here come the Eagles. Down the middle. Good dig on the back line by Dondero. Pass from Rivera. Perez finishes it. Great assist by Rivera. She's up to 3 in the game. And Natalie Perez, her 5th kill on 10 attacks.
And it's always Perez, it seems. I know I've said this before, and I've probably said it every Tampa match I've covered, but when the Spartans have needed someone these last few years, Natalie Perez is the name they call.
Now to the net, redirected, heads up play by the number 2. Ashlyn Corner saw an opening and gets her first kill of the game to make it 14-11. But Tampa holding the lead at a critical point in the set. The numbers for the set, 217 hit percentage for the Spartans, 033 for the Eagles. Now to the back line. Dondero. Conneron off the block. Here's Rivera. Dondero again to the middle. Jenna Davis. We haven't seen a lot of her today, but she strikes again. Her 2nd kill, her 3rd attack. Tampa leads by 4.
Yeah, I mean, the Spartans have the luxury of too many options almost on their attack, and Jenna Davis, as good as she is, can sometimes get lost in that shuffle. But whenever she gets the ball, she is very efficient with it.
Big strike, what a dig. Barely kept in play. Ron just keeps it alive. That almost would have hit by the net and would have made it an impossible ball to recover. Next touch, however, goes the way of Embry Riddle. Good kill by Zeman, who's up to 7 in the game to make it 15-12. One thing I've noticed so far, Josh, Tampa hasn't done a lot of rotating. Usually you'll see players like Lainey Perdue, who are service specialists, come into the game. You might see players like Sofarelli maybe enter for a couple points throughout the early goings, but no, it's been Tampa's key veterans on the floor so far today, and they have played very well.
And I'm certainly not going to question Coach Imperial's methods because it's working. Spartans won set 1 and have a relatively comfortable lead here in the second set. What I am going to question is how much of that 27-0 going on the last game of the season, how much has that affected Imperial's decisions here today? Because it's always good to rest some of your top players, get experience for as much of the women on your roster as you can. My guess is that Coach Imperial is just resting so many more players and putting so much more emphasis on his seniors and his stars and more of his veterans, just so the Spartans don't take this last game of the season for granted and don't take the potential of being the first team in Sunshine State Conference history to win every single game of their regular season for granted.
Yeah, but also I think another reason alongside that one could be because it is seniors.
Yeah.
And he wants to let the seniors have a last hurrah at home, even though Tampa will almost certainly be hosting the playoffs.
They will.
I think a meteor would have to hit the Bob Martinez Center for us to not host it.
Or a hurricane, but that's a lot more realistic.
Of course, unfortunately, that is very realistic. It is that time of the year, but so far, knock on wood, we have been pretty dry for the most part in terms of hurricane season after last year had plenty. Point for Tampa. They're not going to call a violation on the Spartans. The Eagles look absolutely stunned at the call. 5-point lead for Tampa. As a couple changes will be made. Connor Ron ready for the upcoming serve. 5 digs, 6 kills on the game so far. I also do imagine, Josh, that we will see more rotations later on.
Oh, for sure.
Throughout the season, Coach Imperial has not shied away from giving players, rookies and freshmen, big opportunities. It was late against Barry in that regular season game at home that Zoe Richardson was given some of the most important serves of the game.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be talking about this if all season long Coach Imperial hasn't, put just about every single player on his team in the lineup on any given night. And am I over-exaggerating a little bit on that? Yes, but the bottom line is everyone on this Tampa roster has gotten time this season, and typically there is a lot larger rotation than you see for Tampa right now.
So here we go, 18-15. Eagles trail by 3. It'll be 15 serving 18. Waddell, Carter, got it. Floated over the net, and Carter, who's had a bit of a quiet day so far in the negatives for hitting percentages, finally gets on the board with her 3rd kill. Jenna Davis back on the floor to combine with Carter and Schrenger up front. Tampa sends it over. Picked up on the back line. Down the middle, what a diving dig by Ron. Schrenger capitalizes. That's awkwardly played forward. Free ball, sent back by Davis. JD up to 3 kills on the day. She is the 6th Spartan to pick up 3 kills so far. Joining Carter, Greg, Perez, and the 2 kill leaders for Tampa, Schrenger and Connor Ron. And that'll lead to a timeout. Well, actually, we'll stick here through the timeout. Might as well, as both teams exit, take one more look at the stat sheet for both sides today. Because, Josh, there have been some pretty good players on offense for those Eagles. Fifi Harvey, Dakota Zeman, they lead everyone in terms of kills, 9 and 7 respectively. 9 from Harvey, who's hitting .368 on the day.
Yeah, and it's hard to downplay the level of success that they're having, but those are 2 of the 3 players with triple-digit attack attempts, and we're in the 3rd set. Embry Riddle is rotating a lot of their players in. They've got a vast majority, if not their entire roster, having played at least a minute in this one. but they're not spreading the ball around as well as the Spartans are. I mean, you just said it. There are 6 Spartans with 3 or more kills. There are 4 Eagles with multiple kills right now. So that's a huge disparity, and it's playing into the Spartans' hands because they can put more blockers around where Fifi Harvey and Dakota Zeman would be hitting the ball and just take some of the threat away from the 2 heavy hitters for Embry Riddle. If the Eagles want to get back in this match, they're going to have to start getting some production from some of their other players up front.
Definitely watch for Urbic and Manjak potentially to get more involved in the game. Manjak, who is one of the most efficient players in the conference, only at a 0 hitting percentage. 1 kill, 1 error on 5 attacks.
Yeah, she has been remarkably quiet on the floor for most of the day, but just has not seen too much action.
Schrenger, first point not yet picked up out of the timeout. That one unable to be directed to a teammate. Good kill that time by Harvey, her 10th of the game. And the first point out of the final timeout by the Eagles goes to the Eagles. Make it 20-16. Their hitting percentage for the set up to 132. Double-double watch for the Spartans. Kayla Dondro needs 1 more dig to hit that tally. 13 assists, 9 digs. Rivera, Schrenger, almost got it. Down the middle, kept in play with a dig by Carter. She's not usually on the digging end, and what a kill on the corner by Schrenger. It's 21-16.
And this is just the part of the set where things start to click for Tampa. I mean, it's an easy way to look at how the Spartans have been undefeated. Just look at the second half of the middle sets in most matches. That's where you see the biggest run, where you see the most shots falling in for Tampa, where you see those difficultly placed shots falling in on the line. I mean, everything's going Tampa's way, mostly everything right now.
Just offline on that attack, a rare Spartan error, only their 7th of the game, their 5th of the set, believe it or not. There have been 6 errors on the set by the Embry Riddle Eagles. Their hitting percentage a lot lower because they have had more attacks compared to the Spartans. Dondero with the pass, Schrenger on the finishing end, Harvey with the dig. Harvey pushes it over the middle, poked down by Perez, but it's kept in play. What a dig there by Ron. Played at the net, Tess Schrenger picks up an awkward set, but piles it home. And it's a 5-point Tampa lead, 3 points to go in the set. That's a big break point for Tampa to go up by 5 with 3 to go.
And once again, it's the net play of the Spartans that has really put them a step above Embry Riddle so far this match.
Good pass, big block, but out of play. Across the SSC, Florida Tech has already won their second set to go up 2-0 against Florida Southern. They've rallied well after their loss to Tampa yesterday. Eckerd lead 1-0 against Nova Southeastern. Lynn and St. Leo are tied at 1-1. Palm Beach leads Rollins. And the other SSC game active, Austin Embry Riddle, Tampa leads 1-0.
And if the scores hold, Embry Riddle and Florida Tech will swap places in the Sunshine State Conference standings.
That could be big for that final playoff spot. If you take a look at the top 8 ranked teams in the region from November 16th, Tampa first, Barry 2nd, Lynn 3rd, Palm Beach 4th, West Florida 5th, Alabama Huntsville 6th, Nova 7th, Embry 8th, 9th Florida Tech, 10th Eckerd. Either one of those teams in the bubble could make their way in. 23-19 Tampa. The Eagles need an upset. Florida Tech needed an upset. The Panthers couldn't get it. The Eagles, it would be a long road, but it's not impossible. Just improbable at the moment, especially if Tampa can close the door on set number 2. Rivera looking to do just that. They have game plan to try to keep the ball away from her as much as possible. It's worked, even though Rivera's picked up 3 assists. To the back line, that's off a Spartan, make it 23-20.
But if the Eagles can get back into this, if they can complete this comeback, I would be shocked, and frankly, it would be a disservice to the NCAA to leave them out of the tournament. Because if it ends up happening, you can't have the one team that beat the only undefeated team down to the final day of the season not in the tournament. So a win would certainly do huge things for Embry Riddle, and a loss would put their postseason future very much into question.
Lee and Trevecca Nazarene are the 2 teams that could play spoiler to an SSC side. The only teams in the Gulf South Conference tournament that are still alive that are not likely at-large bids. West Florida and Alabama Huntsville likely will make the tournament as at-large teams. They avoided early upsets in tournament play and are through to the semifinals of the GSC tournament. But there is no tournament of the SSC. Tampa's already conference champs, and they're looking to make it one set away from being invincible, at least for the regular season. Offline, they got it. 25-21. The first set point is all Tampa needs. Josh Sperber will give set number 3 a chance as Tampa looks to close the door on the regular season, to close the door on history. Can they be invincible for the Imperial era? Obviously, the next 6 games that follow are the most important ones. But going 28-0 would be something special, something that's never been done in program history. And Tampa is 25 points away. We'll be back.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
You know, that love of sports is the #1 reason most people start officiating, and verbal abuse is the #1 reason why most quit. Act with respect and be officially human.
sets of this season finale. Josh Sperber, Taylor Stolworthy here on this potentially historic occasion as the Tampa Spartans will serve to start the final set, potentially separating them from becoming the first team in the history of the Sunshine State Conference to finish a season undefeated since the records have been kept since 1981. A truly remarkable feat is on hand for the Spartans, who took the first sets 25-20 and 25-21 over Embry Riddle.
What a year it would be to do so, because it is the 50th anniversary of the SSC. For Tampa to pick up such a milestone here would be special. And throughout the last few years, you know, it's been great seeing so many incredible milestones from SSC schools. Lynn bringing home their program's first national title last year. Nova continuing their unbeaten men's basketball run. And Tampa, you know, winning about a baker's dozen national titles along the way last year, too, from beach volleyball, swimming, baseball, and more.
And that spike is blocked from Jenna Davis. Now it goes on the far side to Schrenger, who lobs one over the block. Goes across court for Fifi Harvey. And that one's going to go for Embry Riddle. I think I heard someone touching the net. I guess that was the Spartans.
Yeah, it might have been a late call on the net touch there. Unlucky for Tampa. But just kind of continuing from what I was mentioning as well with the SSC, you know, it's not just Tampa athletics. As we kind of celebrate, you know, what is an incredible Spartan season, it's a great achievement for the conference as a whole, who are also celebrating an anniversary year. It's awesome to be at the helm of SSC athletics, which just stand really at the top of D2 across so many sports.
Yeah, they don't call us the Conference of Champions for nothing. Sorry, Pac-12, but you don't exist anymore. 2-1 the score after the Spartans get their first point of what they hope is the final set. Tess Schrenger sends one down to the earth, but a diving dig by Zeman is able to pick it up. Now the spike goes cross court for Connor Ron, who pulverizes that one, tying it up at 2 from number 2.
Ron, thankfully for the Spartans, isn't a senior, because I know all eyes will be on her to be the ace of the Tampa offense next year.
Yeah, you didn't count last year as her breakout season. Get ready for 2026, because I'm in agreement with you. That Connor Ron is a player. And her Tampa Spartans now had a 3-0 run after Embry Riddle took an early 2-0 lead in this second set. Tess Schrenger, the service architect of said run. She sends her serve just long on the near sideline. And a service error, just the third of the match for fifth. Oh, I can't read, sorry. Third of the match, I was right the first time. But first into the first set, which is impressive, as the serve comes over from Embry Riddle. It's Turner. Now Natalie Perez on the second end, lobs it over and gets it down. Natalie Perez with a huge point for Tampa as they retake the lead 4-3. Ana Rivera now back to serve. Here's Rivera. That one goes long, just missed clipping the back line, dangerously close. But back-to-back service errors from the Spartans as Fifi Harvey returns, replacing Stella Weisbrod for Embry Riddle. So 4-4 the score on back-to-back service errors by Tampa, and the service from Zeman. Slam down right in front of the block, count it for Rachel Gray. She picks up her 5th kill of the game with an even .500 hitting percentage.
She and Perez lead the way with those .500 hitting percentages. Also, one step higher, Jenna Davis, only 6 attacks, but a .667 hit percentage.
Is that 3 in a row? Unfortunately, it is. Spartans' last 3 serves have all missed. And once again, Embry Riddle will make substitutions. They send 2 off. Haley Manjack and the libero Gabriella Pagan exit. Ashley Lunn is on to serve for Embry Riddle. And that's an ace. Just hits the baseline on a perfectly placed serve by Ashley Lunn. The junior gives Embry Riddle the lead back for the first time since it was 2-1. And he talked about Jenna Davis's stellar hitting percentage. If the stats continue, it will be Davis who finishes the year leading the Sunshine State Conference in hit percentage. as a nice block made by the Eagles, and they take a 2-point lead for the first time since the first 2 points of this final set. Embry Riddle had some early leads in both of the sets, but Tampa has always been able to get it back around. Great set from Glaudel, spiked down, but a better block from Fifi Harvey. There's Fifi Harvey sending it over. Rivera goes far. Ron gonna hit the line and hit off an eagle, so it's out of bounds, and Connor Ron picks up her 9th kill.
Coach Roberto Rodriguez is not happy at all about the call. And one thing you can say as well, you can't fight City Hall, and that is a very tough play. Obviously, the refs have better views than us.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I think what made it tougher is because the line judge on the far side almost gave the point to Embry Riddle before it was given to Tampa. But, as the Eagles say, ball don't lie. They get the point right back and retake their 2-point lead.
Whenever you have a controversial call, it's definitely always that very next play, that very next point that kind of determines whether the attitude is kind of right or wrong for it. So Embry Riddle will feel like they're justified in now taking the 2-0 lead. Largest lead they've had since set 1, I believe.
Yeah, they had a 3-point lead in the first set, have not led by more than 2 in any set since, with no lead by more than 1, I believe, in the second set. Tess Schrenger gets blocked, quickly sets it back over, but it's dug up there by Zeman. Hammered off the block, and it's sent down, somehow stays up. Dug over by Embry Riddle. That one's pushed forward by Carter, makes for a relatively easy return. Fifi Harvey slams it, and now Schrenger will dig it up. From the back line, it's Connor Ron, but she gets it into the net. And it's a 3-point Embry Riddle lead, matching their largest of the match. And that is going to be a Tampa timeout. I believe it's their first one of the match. Tampa has not had too much to look over negatively over the course of this one, but they trail by 3. 9-6 to score. Tampa up 2-0 as they look to make it an undefeated season when we return.
Did you know that verbal abuse from fans, coaches, and players is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away from sports? Act with respect. Be officially human.
Balance. It isn't just essential in your sport, it's essential in life, especially college life. It's everything you need to thrive in school, in sport, and everything in between. The key is just finding a place where you can pursue it all, because the real beauty lies in the balance. If you want to win in every arena of college life, go D2. Make it yours.
Embry Riddle putting a damper to Tampa's sweep hopes as they hope to sweep the season. They've won the first 27 games and are 2/3 of the way of taking their 28th in the regular season finale against Embry Riddle. 25-20, 25-21 Tampa in sets 1 and 2. Embry Riddle back with a service 9-6 in set number 3. Josh Sperber, Taylor Stowworthy on the call here as Manjack sends that serve over, goes to Tess Schrenger, down the line and staying in for Schrenger. Big point for the Spartans as they get the serve back and cut the lead down to 2. And back to serve, it's been maybe the most successful server on the Spartans today in Tess Schrenger. Sorry, that is not Tess Schrenger. Another point for the Spartans. Gonna go Adele on the serve, and now it's 9-8. Sorry, it is Rachel Gregg back to serve.
What a kill down the middle, though, by Jenna Davis on that play.
Davis, very successful when called upon, as that one is dug out of bounds by Embry Riddle, and we're tied. Quickly erasing the largest deficit they've seen. It's a 3-0 run for the Spartans.
Big thing for Tampa is, I think stat-wise, they haven't been worse than Embry Riddle this set. The Eagles have just played absolutely phenomenal defense for those first few points. Tampa finally starting to hit it where the Eagles aren't.
Eagles truly playing like their backs are against the wall. as the net helped that block for Embry Riddle before it was poked over by Herbeck. Now it goes to the far side. Schrenger down the line and in again. Spartans take a 10-9 lead as their hope for the sweep reignited on a massive run, now at 4-0.
That is just huge for the Spartans to come out of their first time out. They've also now just forced one from the Eagles, getting 4 straight points and turning the set on its head. That is the type of run Tampa can get on, and that's why it was important for Embry to be almost flawless defensively to start the set, because now they're only trailing by 1, where it could have been 2, 3, or even 4 if things had been closer before that first time out.
2 sets to the Spartans. The third set, anybody's game. We'll be back after a short break as the Spartans look to go undefeated and finish out this match. Tampa retaking the lead after a timeout. Some great defensive play and, well, a lot of other things. What have you liked about these last few minutes from Tampa?
Just, I think, them coming out of the first time out. It's some of the best volleyball we've seen out of the Spartans today. A big point there for Embry Riddle to end the run, but just flawless defense and perfect attacks. The Eagles have been great on defense this set, and Tampa, I think, finally have found ways to mix up their offense to get around it, and that's exactly what they needed to do here, to claw back from a 3-0 deficit, or a 3-point deficit.
Fifi Harvey getting her 12th kill of the match and then immediately subbed off after ending the 4-0 Spartans run. A hammer from Matt Carter. The whistle was blown, and it's a point for Tampa. Embry Riddle touched the net, and Tampa takes the lead right back with a couple subs coming on. Off goes Matt Carter and Kayla Dondera. Natalie Perez re-enters the fray for the Spartans, and Kayla Dondera progresses to the service line.
I'm surprised they haven't been feeding Natalie Perez the ball more often. Only 12 attacks, and she's hitting 500.
I imagine in this last set, we'll see a lot more from Perez as the ball goes over her fingers, along with Jenna Davis on the block. Now it's Schrenger, taps one over to get it for Embry Riddle, and they can't keep it inbound. Tess Schrenger with another little lob over the Embry Riddle block does the trick, and the Spartans stretch out their lead to 2.
Look on the sideline, you even have Coach Imperial giving some instructions to Tampa how they could have played that point better, even though there was an incredible play on the attack from Tampa. This is the team that has not settled for perfection. They want to be one step higher.
And the Spartans, 6 service errors in this match. 4 of them have come in the 4th set. Do you think some of that pressure is starting to get to these ladies?
I don't think it's pressure. I think it's fatigue. You know, they've been playing high-intensity volleyball throughout the entire day today. And you notice that the serving discipline gets a little bit weaker as the game progresses for Tampa. I don't know, maybe, if that's also where they're trying to get a little more aggressive, trying to capitalize on fatigue from the opponent too. But these last 2 games, their relatively calm and patient serves have gotten a little bit shakier. Although that's a good serve as it's awkwardly sent over by the Eagles.
And a great diving dig from Rivera after Schrenger's serve, and Ron can't complete it. Dug up by Zeman. From the back line, it's Fifi Harvey right at Schrenger. Now the ball passed aside. Connor Ron with the kaboom! 3 points Spartan lead, and Ron with a slam of a spike gets her 10th kill of the match.
2 Tampa players now with double digits, and there are 3 others with 5 and above.
Tess Schrenger serving down the near sideline, and that ball bounced off the block and down for Dakota Zeman. Powerful strike for Zeman, who has been going back and forth with Fifi Harvey for the game's kill lead. Now it's a 3-way tie with Harvey, Zeman, and Tess Schrenger. Embry Riddle to serve. That is Kerner. Spartan dig it up for Natalie Perez, and right to Kerner on the spike. Now Pagan, once again, it is Zeman, but that's dug up by Rivera. Sent to the other side from Davis. Schrenger taps it over, diving dig. Rujano keeps it alive. Sent over and out of bounds, coming from the back line. And a long rally ends on an error from Stella Weisbrod. 3-point lead for the Spartans, and a Rivera back to serve. Here comes Rivera, lobs one over the middle. Pagan dives and sends it over, so it's a free ball for the Spartans. Ron to capitalize. Great defensive dig by Kerner, but it gets to the Spartans. That one can't be sent over. Pagan over to Rujano, and she comes back, bringing the rally back out of Embry Riddle's control into a kill for Isabella Rujano.
That's a very important kill there from Rujano, just her from the game. She's been the third most active attacker for the Eagles, but carried a pretty low hitting percentage up until that point. Still not super high though, just under, I think, 100%.
And that one skips off the net on the service from Embry Riddle. Connor Ron sends that down past the diving arms of Kerner. And Connor Ron with her 11th kill of the match. Spartans 9 points away from history. Currently, there is one team in each division that has 0 losses towards the end of the regular season. Nebraska, the powerhouse in Division 1. In Division 2, it's the Spartans, obviously. In Division 3, East Texas Baptist is 30-0. And on the next, Tess Schrenger has a double-double as we take a look at some of the stats. 12 kills and 11 digs. How about that for a senior day?
Definitely on fire, and I imagine that Schrenger, who had barely just missed the dig on the previous point, will try to get active on this one.
Service coming from Ashley Lunt as Glaudel sets it up. That one punched down, but dug up by Kerner. Schrenger on the hit for the Spartans. That one skips off the block, and Schrenger dives, but can't get there. And for the first time in what seems like a while, Embry Riddle is within 1 point.
What's interesting about the run to the finish in this set, Tampa and Embry Riddle each only have 1 timeout remaining. We saw them down the wire in the first set. Both teams had both in their disposal.
Another serve from Lunt. Connor Ron is there. Ball sent back to the back line where Schrenger will dig it over. Free ball for the Eagles. Dug up for Harvey. And a great job by Tess Schrenger from the back line. Ron gets it and sends it down. 8 points away are the Spartans as Connor Ron gets her 12th kill of the match in a powerful punch down the middle of the court. Pagan, the libero, back on for Embry Riddle as the Spartans go back to serve, now up 2. Here's Connor Ron. Send one over, right to Pagan. Now to Harvey, far side, off the block. Diving stop by Glaudel. Schrenger to save it, and it's dug up. And now here's a chance. Great block from Jenna Davis. Can they do it again? No. That was Rachel Gregg on the set. Schrenger blocked down, and it stays in. What a rally and a massive point for Embry Riddle as they return the deficit to 1 point.
That Rachel Gregg block, you could hear the impact across campus. What a strike, but somehow the Eagles rally. That is a huge point for them to pick up indeed, because they would be down 18-15, and that is a very tricky scoreline at this stage of the set.
Another net skipper of a serve as that one slammed home by Gregg, but it's blocked. Great defense from Embry Riddle. Fifi, Harvey, Kaylee Herback were up front, and now we're tied at 17 in the third set.
That one went out of play, but it just clipped off a Tess Schrenger. Very unfortunate. Great defense.
Isabella Rujano back to serve for Embry Riddle, looking to take the lead for the first time in a long while. Matt Carter tried to have something to say about it. Spike is dug up, block is stopped. Diving dig, and it's not enough from Zeman. Spartans get the point. 7 away from history as it's 18-17.
Tess Schrenger, you know, whenever Tampa's on the ropes, whenever Tampa needs something to happen, they call her number and she delivers. Awkward angle, doesn't matter. She's going to get the ball over the net. That is another impressive point for her to win. She's tied now with Harden for the overall kill lead as well.
And Lainey Perdue enters for the first time. She'll replace Rachel Gregg, another senior like Schrenger, like Natalie Perez, who have made an excellent impact. And even Jenna Davis, who's 6 for 8 in terms of hitting so far. And Lainey Perdue getting her first cuts at the game, sends the service down the near sideline with Tampa up 1. Great block by the Spartans there. Jenna Davis was after it, so was Schrenger. Diving dig by Glaudel. Connor Ron floats it up. Carter taps it over, but an easy one for Embry Riddle. Now it goes from the back line. Zeman sends it over the net, but out of bounds, and we're tied at 18. So as quickly as she comes on, Lainey Perdue exits in place of Anna Rivera. The servers substitute in Stella Weisbrod on for Fifi Harvey. 18-18.
Ooh, a yellow card issued there to Rodriguez. He was once again not happy, I think, either about a late call or no whistle from the previous play. That's why you say you can't fight City Hall, because that's what's going to happen. You get booked.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been talking at the referees all game. I'm not saying everything he said was malicious, because it certainly wasn't, but it's been a matter of time for the booking for Roberto Rodriguez, unfortunately. Serve coming over from Embry Riddle. A nice job knocking it over from the Spartans, and it stays down. I think that was Jenna Davis who got her hand on that. Another little finesse, just popped down, and the Spartans retake the lead. 6 points away from history as Tampa goes back to serve.
If there's anyone who could give Tampa their first ace of the game, look at Kayla Dondero.
Well, Spartans certainly hope for that. Dondero, who has played in all 3 sets, has 22 assists to lead all Spartans. She comes for the serve. Center cut and dug up by the Eagles. Now Zeman bounces it right off of Anna Rivera's wrist. Connor Ron slams it home, and that is dug up. And another block off the shot from Zeman. Now the chance. Natalie Perez blocked away on the dig, but it goes out of bounds and into the stands. Natalie Perez with her 7th kill of the match, and the Spartans are the first to 20 in the 3rd set. 5 points away from 28-0 are Tampa, and they will have to wait in a timeout. Kayla Dondero will come back to serve for Tampa when we return. 20-18 after 2 sets won by the Spartans. This may be the epic conclusion of an undefeated Tampa season when we return.
First 50 years of the Sunshine State Conference inspired champions and built a legacy rooted in excellence. A legacy built from a single sport to a conference of national champions. Threaded through geography, fueled by growth, defined by excellence. 135 team national titles, 173 individual champions, and hundreds of scholar All-Americans. Always at the top of NCAA Division II. Looking ahead, we reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we're going. The Sunshine State Conference, where success thrives.
It's taken 50 years, but we're on the brink of the first undefeated season in the history of the Sunshine State Conference. 2018 and 2 sets to Tampa as Kayla Dondero's serve is sent back over by Zeman from Embry Riddle. Cross court, pass to Schrenger, dug up by Pagan. Set, and it'll be a dig over, free ball for the Spartans from Ruhana. And a power punch tried, but a mistimed jump from Jenna Davis. A rare miss for her as Ron digs it up with one hand. Perez there to send it over. Free ball for Embry Riddle now. Here's Zeman. Power strike, and it hit off a Spartan and stayed in bounds. 20-19 as Dakota Zeman picks up her game-high 14th kill of the match, tying her for the lead with Tess Schrenger.
Both teams a little bit shaky on that rally. Not great positioning. The Eagles come away with a point. I wonder how this next one will go.
And now the libero sends one over. That one sent straight down on a mishit dig by the Spartans. And a nice block from the front three of Embry Riddle to tie this at 20. Eagles trying to play spoiler and certainly making what the Spartans want to be the final set a bit more interesting. Dondero over for Schrenger. Saved by Embry Riddle. Now Zeman. Did that stay in? Yes, it did. Deflection, actually, But Embry Riddle takes the lead late in the set, 21-20. All on a 3-0 run, architected by the server, Gabriela Pagan. She lofts one over to Rivera, and out to the far side for Schrenger. And Schrenger delivers! Sends a spike into the stands, 15 kills for Tess, and Tampa takes back the serve in a tie game. Last two matches between these two teams have gone to 5 sets. Every matchup, all previous 20, have been won by Tampa, as that one is spiked off the net. Here's a chance for the Spartans. Ron is blocked. Schrenger tries, but she can't get there, and Embry Riddle takes the lead. They're 3 points away from forcing a 4th set as the Spartans try for the expedient route to their undefeated season.
Still, that final timeout remains for Imperial. But even in these high-pressure points, he's letting his team play on.
Far side from Ron, just too far. And it's a 2-point lead for Embry Riddle. I would be surprised if we saw a timeout call from Brian Imperial, and here we get it. Some life breathed into the Embry Riddle Eagles as they are now up 2 points towards the end of set number 3. Can Tampa turn it around and route to an undefeated season? We'll find out when we come back.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
You know that love of sports is the #1 reason most people start officiating? And verbal abuse is the #1 reason why most quit? Act with respect and be officially human.
23-21, a late surge from Embry Riddle has put them right back into this 3rd set after the Spartans comfortably took over sets 1 and 2. Service coming in from Ashlyn Kerner. Set on the far side, and Connor Ron explodes for the kill. Number 13 on the night for Connor, and a huge point for Tampa, as they'll send Anna Rivera back to serve with the intent of tying up this match at 23.
23-23 is so much different than 24-22. And 23-22 is so much different than 24-21. That's a huge kill by Connor Ron.
You're absolutely right there, Taylor. And Anna Rivera trying to keep up the momentum for the Spartans here. Libero for Tampa sends it over. Slicing dig. Zeman sends it up. It's dug over and out of bounds. And 2 set points, for Embry Riddle. What a turnaround this has been, as back and forth is close as this set has been. It has seemed like Tampa has been in control until recently. And now Embry Riddle with 2 set points to try and cut into the Spartans' lead. Here is the service from Kerner. Dug up, going across to Connor Ron, off the net, and it's a Tampa point. I think it's a net violation on Embry Riddle.
I think it was blocked out of bounds by Embry Riddle, I think, off that play, because even though it hit off the net, Embry Riddle got their hands there, so either or, Tampa's going to definitely take that point as they can try to force a tiebreaker with this point right here.
Still a match point on Embry Riddle's side, and now the serve is Glaudel. Going to the near side, great dig from Ana Rivera against Harvey. Now Ron to tie it up, no, it's dug away. Back set over, Glaudel with a dig. Tap down, and Embry Riddle shockingly takes the 3rd set. It seemed like all signs were pointing to another Spartan sweep, but it'll have to go to a 4th set if Tampa wants an undefeated season. Embry Riddle will not be denied as they make it 2 sets to 1. 25-20, 25-21 in the first 2 sets for Tampa. 25-23, Embry Riddle narrowly avoids a tiebreaker and temporarily avoids being the last team to lose to Tampa in the regular season. Taylor Stillworthy will take over the play-by-play for the 4th set in a 2 sets to 1 matchup between Tampa and Embry Riddle.
First 50 years of the Sunshine State Conference inspired champions and built a legacy rooted in excellence. A legacy built from a single sport to a conference of national champions. Threaded through geography, fueled by growth, defined by excellence. 135 team national titles, 173 individual champions, and hundreds of Scholar All-Americans. Always at the top of NCAA Division II. Looking ahead, we reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we're going. The Sunshine State Conference, where success thrives.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Here we go, set number 4. An undefeated season on the line for the Tampa Spartans. Taylor Storley, Josh Sperber on the call. Andre Pyatt, as always, running the show. And Tampa, we're close, but Embry Riddle avoid going down in straight sets to the Spartans as they force this 4th set for Tampa. The first time Tampa's had a 4-set game at home since October. The last time they had to go more than 3 sets was against Barry on October 18th. Tampa was down 2-1. They rallied to win 3-2 in an instant classic. But now Tampa is looking to close the door here. And they need 25 points to do so. Embry Riddle have had some late resurgences as of late against Rollins. They were able to rally from a 2-0 deficit, but ended up losing in set 5 against Palm Beach Atlantic. They also had a 5-set game, but lost in set number 5 as well. Dondero with the pass. Tesh Schringer sends it over. That one's off the ceiling. Kept alive though, and it'll be a free ball for Tampa. Dondero sets it up. Tesh Schringer sends it home. Good dig though by Pagan. Tough angle. Did it hit off a Spartan? Yes, it did. And Embry Riddle take the lead in set number 4.
And that was a really solid rally, but just well won by Embry Riddle. And that first point aside, I'm expecting the Spartans at some point to just go on a furious coming out swinging kind of run.
Floated over by Schringer. What a diving dig though by Rahano. That one hits to the back line. Here's the dig over to Dondero. To Schringer. Dug back up. Pass to the middle. Floated over. Dondero sends it back. Schringer again. Kept alive again by Rahano. Long rally. Blocked, kept in play. Third time is not the charm for the Eagles. Rivera passes it to Schringer once more, and the point continues. Great dig by Rivera. Schringer tips it over. Tampa on the back foot throughout most of the points. And here they go to Schringer again. Just too long. But wait, they're going to say it went off of a defender, or there was a violation. Either way, Tampa win an improbable point, We're 1-1 for 2 points of the fourth set.
Two really strong points to start off this fourth set. I'm really excited about the volleyball we're about to see.
We'll see if your prediction becomes true, Josh, if Tampa can go on a big run. What a diving dig, though, by Pagan. She has been the reason that this team has really stayed in the fight with those great defensive stands. Perez tries to float it to the far side, offline, make it 2-1, Embry Riddle. You know, from that previous set, it was the service errors that really proved to be the difference maker. Tampa picking up 4 of those. And even though they had a better hitting percentage than the Eagles in that set, just some costly plays cost them what could have been a sweep.
Yeah, without even half of those 4 free points on the service errors, you know, we could still have seen Tampa taking that set, and we'd still be in the postgame.
So Tampa back on the serve. Senior day continuing with Ana Rivera. 11 digs now. She has finally been more active as Embry Riddle have been forced to send the ball her way more often. Good serve by Rivera. Tampa yet to get a service ace. Diving dig on the back line. Perez with the pass to Ron. Ron at a tough spot. Good dig by Pagan. She has 13 on the game. Here's Rivera. Dondera. Connor Ron blocked. Did it land out? Yes, it did. Point to the Spartans. Good defense, but they couldn't direct it onto the floor on Tampa's side of the field.
And I saw good things from both sides of that play. First off, Gabriela Pagan is maybe the only libero not named Rivera who can do some of the crazy sliding stops that we've seen from the Rivera sisters over the past few years here at Tampa. And for the Spartans, you gotta love Connor Ron rolling towards the interior of the court, away from that out-of-bounds ball that was blocked on the last point for Tampa.
And for the first time in maybe 4 years of covering Spartans volleyball, I have seen a ceiling hit go against the Spartans. Usually it'll be visiting teams that kind of get unlucky when it bounces off the roof, but that time, just hit an awkward angle and the point goes to the Eagles. Here's the serve on the way from Embry Riddle. Dondera to Ron, and Tampa take the lead once again. Mentioning the digs today from each team's defense, their liberos are leading the way, but a lot of players have gotten on the board. From Schrenger's double-double, from Ron's double-double, to Zeman's double-double. 9 players in double-digit digs for both teams. Five for Tampa. Five for Tampa, 4 for Riddle. I had it right the first time. Smart play by Ron, redirecting at the net. 5-3 Tampa. They take a multi-point lead for the first time this set.
And Embry Riddle needs to just put everything against the Spartans, because if they let this lead go too much larger than 2 points, they might as well look out.
Big strike. Big dig by Rivera. Waddell. Ron. That one might hit off the ceiling. And they'll be able to dig it over successfully. Very good defense to keep it alive. Carter almost converts the next play. Pagan with good defense. Rivera. Waddell. Hit over by Ron. Here's Embry Riddle again. No pass to the number 3. Off the net. Down for a point. Fifi Harvey gets another kill. It's 5-4.
And even on those blocks, you still just seem to expect like the Spartans are going to get to those balls bouncing off the net, those kind of 50-50 ones just right up at the net. But that time, it goes in the favor of Embry Riddle.
So here comes a brand new serve on the way from the Eagles. They've had 5 aces to 4 errors in the game so far. Lunt has one of those aces. Connor on. Exclamation point. 6-4 Tampa.
When she is on target with those spikes down the line, you might as well pack it up. I mean, she just hits the ball so hard and with such strong accuracy, it makes it near impossible to defend those spikes going down the sidelines.
Ron will be able to get some Gatorade as she is exiting for Lainey Purdue. I wonder if Imperial is kind of using this game as a playoff tester with the limited rotations as well, to give Tampa kind of some experience playing tired, because usually throughout the year, Tampa's been able to substitute and rotate a lot more than you've seen today. Not that they haven't rotated. 6-5, big kill from the Eagles. You know, Perez and Greg switching, or Carter switching out for a while, Greg and Davis rotating in and out, but usually you'll see more substitutions, especially in that third set, but not today for the Spartans. They are keeping their aces in for longer periods. especially as December volleyball is right around the corner. That is going to be something Tampa will want some experience with. Laudel sets it up. Good strike by Strenger. That is kill number 17 on the game. And in the blink of an eye, Ron and Strenger really made this game their own, taking a huge lead in total attacks and a huge lead in total kills for Tampa. And the outright lead in totals does belong to Connor Ron with 18.
But, I mean, you say that because for most of the game, it was Dakota Zeman and Fifi Harvey dominating in the top two in terms of kills. They still are up there, 17 for Zeman, 15 for Harvey, but the Spartans heavy hitters have really stepped up in these last few sets.
They will continue to have to do so. Tampa, after further deliberation, has the point and the serve. And it'll be Rachel Gregg sending it over. You don't always see Gregg on the serve. That one was a nice one. Awkward reception by Pagan. Blocked. Big point for Tampa. Carter and Davis make it 4 in the game for the Spartans. Notably, the Eagles have more blocks in total than Tampa.
Yeah, and honestly, that is something that's been developing over the last couple sets, especially towards the end of that third set. It was Embry Riddle stacking blocks after blocks, where it felt like that's what Tampa was doing from the beginning. If they can make their blockers more effective, Tampa should be able to get out in front enough and just stop enough points to finish this match and season off.
Now to the back line, dug up by Zeman. Fifi Harvey sends it over, out of reach. I don't know whether Ron was expecting Glaudel to go for it or not, but either way, it'll be Embry Riddle staying within 2 in the early goings. Taking a look around the SSC, Eckerd hold on to a 2-1 lead against Nova Southeastern. Lynn lead 2-1 against St. Leo. Florida Tech wins 3-0 against the Mocs. Palm Beach wins 3-0 against the Tars. Tesh Strenger. Oh, that's a very nice kill right there. Ricochets off Rahano. It's 9-6. But Josh, what do those results mean for the conference standings with the Mocs and Tars losing, the Sharks on the brink, the Lions likely going to lose again? Unfortunately, it's been not a great season for our sister school also in Tampa.
Well, the 8 teams in the playoffs are set. Eckerd is locked in at the 8th seed, and I believe that they have the tiebreaker over Florida Tech as well.
They will finish 8th in the regular season standings, it looks like. What a diving dig there by Pagan. It's going to be sent back over. Dondero to the middle, blocked. That's going to land. Big point for Embry Riddle. It's 9-7. But the big thing will be the national rankings, because that is going to be what the tournament comes with. The GSC could see a sleeper team make their way into the tournament. The SSC set in stone. These are the final games of the season.
Yeah, and there's a chance that no one after Nova Southeastern will have a conference record of 500, which you got to take with a grain of salt in a league as dominant as the SSC. But that could go into some kind of factor when it comes to making those bubble decisions.
There's the dig. There's the pass. Blocked. Kept alive. Here comes Tampa. Sliding dig by Rivera. Dondero to Strenger. Ooh, Rahano barely keeps it alive. Sacrificial dig there from Kerner. Perez gets it on the next hole, though. 10-7. What an effort, though, by Kerner, crashing into the scoreboard table. And I can tell you, as I've sat at some of those tables before, they're not the world's most sturdy things, so there's always a bit of worry when you collide with it that they could fall over. So good thing it didn't that time.
Yeah, I was worried that Ashlyn Kerner was going to crash into that table. That is the last thing you want to see.
But Kerner is all right. Looks like she had barely missed it. Here's Kerner setting it up and driven home. Nice kill by Zeman, number 18 in the game.
Yep, Kerner's good. That was an inch-perfect pass to Dakota Zeman, who had just been posting up there on the outside, having a heck of a contest. And one of the main reasons that Embry Riddle is still in this match.
Embry Riddle rallied from a 2-0 deficit on the road against Tampa earlier this season to force a 5th set, but the Eagles would fall in that set by 15-11 as Tampa make another substitution. Rachel Gregg back onto the floor. That is something important to keep in mind leading into this game today. All of the sets have been a lot closer than in that 5-set showdown back in October.
Yeah, and it was the third of the last 4 matches between these two teams that have gone the distance. With all 3 of those previous 5 setters between Embry Riddle and Tampa at Embry Riddle.
Off the block, Rivera, Dondero. Connor Ron! 12-8 Tampa, and they are almost halfway to magic number 25 and an invincible regular season. But of course, you can do a perfect regular season, but it's the 6 games that follow for the tournament that are the more important ones. That await Tampa starting December 4th.
And an undefeated regular season doesn't necessarily mean a national championship.
It certainly doesn't.
Even though the vast majority of the 13 undefeated seasons in NCAA history across the 3 divisions, D1, D2, D3, I think all but one of those undefeated schools has gone on to not win the national championship. Penn State did it when they won their back-to-back undefeated seasons in 2008, 2009. Most recently, Juniata did it in 23 and 24.
So Tampa, 12 points away. They've hit the halfway mark. 4th set continues when we come back on the SSC Digital Network. Embry Riddle is the first time out. We're back at the Bob Martinez Center, about to resume. Tampa on the brink of history. Embry Riddle trying to keep playoff hope alive. Selection Sunday. I don't know if it's going to be on a Sunday, but whenever it is, it would make sense if it is. Either way, that's going to be a must-watch for all of the teams that are on the bubble across the SSC and even the Gulf South Conference too. But obviously, Tampa, they're looking for a historical achievement. They've already won the conference title. They've already set in stone playoff appearance and most likely home field advantage. I'd find it very surprising if Tampa didn't host it, but who knows what will happen. Either way, Tampa leads by 4. They're comfortably in charge.
I mean, there is no one who has a close record to Tampa.
Of course.
I'd be shocked if they weren't hosting multiple tournament games.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 99.99 followed maybe a million times by 9's chance. But on the off chance that they say, hey, you know what? Barry deserves number 1? Who knows? They won't do that. Tampa's beat Barry twice this year. Embry Riddle, get it within 3. Big kill as they've taken the first 2 out of the timeouts.
And Embry Riddle has honestly echoed a lot of what we've seen from Tampa in, letting the set kind of come to them at first, getting into a bit of an early deficit, but then just playing harder. I mean, they have played their best volleyball really since about the 3/4 point in that 3rd set.
That dig goes and lands in play. Awkward from Kayla Dondero, but she got it. Big point for Tampa as they're up by 4, and they prevent the Eagles from jumping to a 3-0 run out of the timeout. Matt Carter and Laudell will check back in.
I think even Dondero was surprised that she made that last shot. She basically just kind of put her arms out to just catch some of the ball and stop it from going right out of bounds.
Big play down the middle, and Manjack gets back on the board. She is starting to get a little more involved after being neutralized for most of the game. As I say that, she gets substituted, but she delivers a big kill before exiting stage left. 3-point Tampa lead. It'll be 11 serving 14. Well, it's actually number 14 serving Ashley Luntz. It's the score of 11 serving, score 14. If you're a little bit confused about that terminology. Here's Rivera to Laudell. Connor Ron kept in play. Big deflection off that block. Big strike kept alive by Laudell. Schwenger with the pass. Tampa's just going to recycle that from Connor Ron. Can they defend this attack? Carter won't make the block. Good dig by Laudell. Rivera pass to Ron again. And that one's dug back right to the Spartans. Carter, she is successful in her try. Matt Carter, 5 kills in the game. It's a 6th Spartan to hit that 5-kill milestone. And a couple changes being made for Embry Riddle. Tampa 10 points away, but these are the toughest points to get. Down the middle, blocked, kept alive, good hustle by Rajana. That's a nice attack, but Tampa keep it alive on the dig by Ron. Teschrenger floats it over. Floated back over. They were able to take Harvey out of the play as she made the dig. And here's Schrenger, blocked! What a dig by Rivera! Here come the Eagles. Big strike, violation on Tampa. Couldn't cleanly receive that strike, and it's 15-12 in favor of in favor of Tampa.
Well, once again, Ana Rivera continues to get to balls that you just don't expect people to get to, whether it's her, sliding and diving for balls hit anywhere, or just kind of flailing about, hoping that she makes a hit on the ball. She's liable to get on just about anything.
Waddell with the pass. Carter off the block. It's kept alive. Good job to avoid the net there by Kerner. Denied! Big stop by Carter and Gregg. That was a wide open chance on the far side for Harvey. She has rarely been denied today. Tampa with a big stop. The bench absolutely loving that too, as Tampa now lead by 4.
Yeah, because you have maybe your best offensive player, if you're Tampa, in Natalie Perez, out right now as they're looking with the increased emphasis on defense. As good as it's been, that block floats over, but if you're Tampa, Matt Carter, Jenna Davis, Tess Schrenger up front, you're feeling pretty good about that.
A big thing for the Spartans, they carry the lead in this back and forth flow. They don't mind if it stays like this because they have a buffer. The Eagles will need to make a run happen if they want to have another photo finish. All of the sets today have been contested within 5 points. Schrenger keeps that alive. It was about to land in play against the Spartans. To the net. They win the joust. Embry Riddle on the ropes. They keep the point going. They'll float it over for the Spartans. Carter. Waddell. Schrenger off the block. Once again, an impressive dig. And honestly, defensively, I think the Eagles have been one-upping the Spartans with their digs. But they can't stop that kill. Redirected, 17-13 Tampa.
And recently, what you just said might be true. The digs might be a little bit more, polished or whatever from Embry Riddle. But Tampa is definitely getting a lot more creative with their shot selection because you just don't know where the Spartans are going to hit the ball.
I think that's something Tampa's really needed to adapt to. There's a costly service error, 17-14. Because Embry Riddle just playing such good defense, you see Gabriella Pagan just trying to take the route of least resistance every single time she's positioned defensively. And she'll be now ready to go on the serve. She has an ace alongside her 19 digs and 4 assists. Ashlyn Kerner, 14 digs, 35 assists today. Dondero. That will be an assist to Schrenger. Beautiful strike. One of the rare times Pagan hasn't been able to save a ball. And it's 18-14 Tampa. 1 timeout remains for the Eagles, 2 for the Spartans. They carry the advantage as we enter the final stage of this 3rd set. Going down to the wire. Off the block, Dondero. Rivera pushes to Perez. And that's right to Pagan. Tough angle, just floated over. Awkward from Tampa. A bit of collision between Glaudel and Rivera is going to make it 18-15. Again, it has remained back and forth for about the last 10 points or so. Tampa does not mind. They have the 3-point lead, although they'd like to take 2 in a row and keep extending that advantage. Embry Riddle keeping within DRS range. Picked up on the back line. Dondero. Ron. Kept alive on the dig by Pagan. Once again in the right place at the right time. That one, did it go off a Spartan? Yes, it did. Might have clipped the line. I think it would have missed the line. Either way, it's a point for the Eagles, and they have scored 2 in a row to finally break the deadlock of the 1-and-1s back and forth.
Now, what Embry Riddle still has to do, sorry if I interrupted you there, but Embry Riddle definitely needs to just look out for the shot making of the Spartans, because you can tell Tampa's being a lot more intentional with where they're aiming their spikes now.
Hit over. Good dig from the back line. They'll set it up to the right-hand side off the block. Ron reacts just in time. They'll send it back to Connor Ron. Tampa up by 3 again. Sigh of relief for the Spartans. They did not want to go down to a 3-0 run and have the game go within 1. Change being made. Rachel Gregg.
Sorry, Taylor, but this is about the time in the last set that things started to turn on its head, where it seemed for a minute when the Spartans were the first team that got to 20, it seems like they had that third and what looked to be the final set all locked up. And they cannot make that same mistake here, because regardless of Tampa's success in their history in 5-set matches, and especially this season, I know they don't want to go to 5-set against these guys.
You mentioned at the start of the broadcast, this has the makings of a trap game. And if you look at how that road game went, you could see it was exactly like that. We'll be back. Second and final timeout from Embry Riddle. Here we go. 19-16. Final time out from Embry Riddle and Coach Roberto Rodriguez.
And the fans here are glued to their seats. My stomach's in knots right now, and not just because I'm hungry, but I know we all do up here, but I know most of the stadium is starting to feel what could be about to happen.
19-17. The Eagles back within 2. They take the first point out of the timeout. Here comes Harvey. Personally, my stomach's in knots just because I'm hungry. I've watched the Spartans for so long, I've learned to kind of go with the flow, something that I know Coach Imperial might be struggling with in terms of also dealing with the nerves of a potential unbeaten season. Redirected at the net. Costly error by the Eagles after a long reception by the Spartans, and they're up 20-17. And now Glaudel back onto the floor. Now Matt Carter back onto the floor.
And once again, this is the Spartans substituting defense coming in for offense. They know that they've got the hitters regardless of who's on the court. Tampa's going to have someone who's going to be able to get kills and put points on the board for the Spartans. Now they have their big 3 in terms of blocking: Rachel Gregg, Matt Carter, and Tess Schrenger. And that is the front 3 that Tampa, I think, is going to hope to keep them as long as possible.
That is a very good tip at the net. Embry Riddle with an awkward play, keep it alive. Free ball for Tampa. Mac Carter, Pagan keeps it in play. That is a great pass, but Tampa wins the joust at the net. That pass went a little bit too far. Fifi Harvey couldn't get a clean attack. Tampa leads by 4. Keep in mind, Embry Riddle use their final timeout. If Tampa emerges on a larger run here, there will be no chance for Embry Riddle to stop the flow of the game. Harvey, back to Harvey. Good dig by Rivera. Played forward to Glaudel. Connor Ron off the block, 22-17. That is the most important break point for Tampa all match long. They lead by 5 with 3 to go in set number 4.
And every single player on the Spartan bench is standing up right now. Some of them with their hands on their heads, just thinking, oh my goodness, we might just do this.
Ron hits it over. It's kept alive by Kernan. Out wide. Harvey blocked. Big stop by Rachel Gregg. 23-17 out of the timeout. Tampa has jumped to a 4-0 run. Well, 4-1 run. The first point went the way of Embry Riddle. Tampa scored the next 4.
And we've seen this time and time again. Less so today, but Tampa out of a timeout has been lethal this season.
To the middle. Great dig on the back line by Glaudel. They'll play it to Matt Carter. Floated. Kept in play. Good read on the play by Rahano. Harvey off of Rivera. What a dig. Connor on. Almost kept alive. 4th. No, they hit the net. They hit the net. Crazy by Manjack. The battle at the net. She went too far forwards. And now, for the first time today, match point Spartans. Invincible point Spartans.
Undefeated season point Spartans. Like, can we keep going? This is exciting.
Here's the serve. Pagan, play to the middle. That one up. Schrenger keeps it alive, and it's a free ball for the Eagles. Kerner passes to Harvey. Kept alive by Rivera, not enough. 24-18. Tampa have 6 chances and 2 timeouts to close out the game. Here comes the serve from Embry Riddle.
You can tell Tampa wants this, because especially on that first ball when the Spartans were almost running into their bench to get it. That's a play that in other situations might not be going for, but you got to love the effort from Tampa.
Here's the serve from Luntz. It's long, and Tampa have done it. 28 and whoa. And I must say, it's a very anticlimactic way for the game to end. We weren't even really ready to call the serve. They send it a little bit long, but it doesn't matter how it happens because it's happened. An undefeated regular season for the Tampa Spartans. The last D2 team to do it in the regular season was Cal State Bernardino. Tampa do have 6 games to go if they want to make history in an impressive way. But with phase 1 of the season done, Tampa ends it on the highest note possible.
Yeah, and it might not be the nicest way to end it, but it's still a point. And you can never script these kind of moments. But one thing that we know for sure is that us in this broadcast booth, everyone watching at home, everyone here at the Bob Martinez Center has witnessed history and witnessed one of the great teams, not just in Division II volleyball history, but in volleyball history with these Tampa Spartans. Unbelievable run in the regular season. Big congratulations to the still undefeated first-year head coach, Brian Imperial, and this incredible program. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to see this team play postseason volleyball. Incredible way to finish off the season, and just an unbelievable season for these Tampa Spartans. Even if they lose in game 1 of the tournament and are done, no one can take away that this was one of the greatest seasons in NC volleyball history.
What a season from Tampa. Imperial embracing his daughter. A lot of joy for the Tampa team. But, in the wise words of an NBA legend, the job's not finished. They are 28-0, but regional volleyball awaits. Tampa will be back on December 4th as the #1 seed, surely of that South region. Who will join them? Well, we know Barry probably will. We know Palm Beach and Lynn probably will. Those other 4 teams are up for grabs. We might see the Eagles come back, and they'll be hungry for revenge. The mercy of the voting committee awaits the teams on the bubble. But for us here from Tampa, we get a week off to save our voices, although not for me. I'll be covering the Tampa Thanksgiving Basketball Classic here. I know you've got Eckerd basketball coming up too. But soon, it'll be playoff volleyball from the Bob Martinez Center. Taylor Storley, Josh Bourbon, Andre Pyatt, thank you for joining us for the regular season. Final score, Tampa 3, Embry Riddle 1. Tampa's invincible, but they've got 3 games to go. The season is far from done as Tampa Sports continues on the SSC Digital